HTTV in association with Absolute Warehouse Services. Danny, it's a strange moment we're in now because we've lost and we're obviously disappointed at that, but there was so much that the fans who were reacting to us on social media are proud of in that performance, and I imagine you're a bit conflicted too.
Yeah, I think it was a roller coaster of a game. We actually started the game well for the first 10 minutes and then find yourself, before you know it, 3 goals down with their first 3 attempts, their only 3 attempts on target in the whole game. And you feel a little bit shell-shocked in that moment. I think there were some good goals from their perspective, if we're fair, but from our end, there's some 1v1 defending that we must be better in that moment. Didn't move our feet well enough. Too eager to try to stop them rather than hold them up, delay them and allow support to come in place. And if you dive in against good players, then you leave other players exposed, and that happened probably for at least 2 of their goals. And it was a difficult moment when you hear them 3-0 down and they're in full flow. You can easily go under, and I think in times before we would have done. And I was proud of the resilience that the players showed and the determination that they showed to fight their way back into the game. And we got ourselves back into it at half time at 3-2, and we're on the ascendancy then. And we've come out second half and created chance after chance after chance. And against a very good Fulham team, we've dominated them. And there was a lot of good play up to those chances, but I'm not into valiant defeats. I'm not. They don't do anything for me. And if you give soft goals away and you don't take chances, then it don't really matter what happens in between.
We've talked a lot about Emile Smith-Rowe since he arrived here and the potential and the ability he has. I thought that everyone could see that in plain sight today. I mean, he's fundamental to both goals we score, and he's a big influence in the second half. He's a super talent, isn't he? Yeah,
he's bright. He's a good footballer. He gives us a real link and combine that we were desperate for. He's made our offensive player play better instantaneously, really, and that's positive going forward. I felt, I wanted him to be more ruthless. I thought he played well at Hull, but he had moments. I want him to be more ruthless and get value for his good play with goals and assists. Pleased he did that today with the 2 goals. I thought he tired in the game, and that's something that is to be expected. He's a young boy and hasn't had a run of games prior to coming to us, and when you play Tuesday to Saturday in the Championship, the treadmill turns pretty fast. So we understand that, but we've got to continue to work in that area, because we know when the game gets stretched in the last 10-15 minutes that he can be a real threat. So it's a good performance from him, but we'll keep working and we'll always want more.
And you see the combination starting to come between the front players now. We're relatively new to each other, and that's bearing fruit for Steve Mounier as well. That's, I believe, a 5th goal in 8 appearances for Stevie's. We talked about goal scoring target man, but he is a real threat now to opposition teams. Yeah,
the patterns are much better now. We carry a threat on the counter attack, which we've carried since I've been here and before I've been here. But now, our positional attacks, the patterns are becoming clearer. The players are seeing the pictures. The movement is becoming better. And we've just got a better fluidity about us and a better rhythm. And it comes in relationships, and it's starting. Yeah, we're disappointed tonight. There's no doubt about it. But there's seeds to suggest that if we keep playing to that level, that we'll be fine.
You've credited Fulham for the quality of their goals. I'm sure you're always wanting your strikers and your forwards to be more clinical, but is there a point at which you have to credit the opposition goalkeeper? Because Marek Rodak's clearly their man of the match here today, and he's pulled off some really good saves.
Yeah, he makes some outstanding saves. My Braintree team would have played against him when he was at Welling, so he's a boy that we know, and he's had to go out and have loans, and worked hard to get to this stage, and yeah, he makes some brilliant saves. He makes one off a Carl, and just thought it was a goal. So credit to him, yeah, but we'll look at it from our perspective, and the good thing is we're making chances. I'm never scared of the forwards missing chances. Sometimes you have to miss them to score them. There was a lot of good play leading up to those chances, and there's many positives to take, but as well as that, we've always got to look at both sides, and we're disappointed that we concede the goals that we do in that early period, and I know they're good goals, but there's definitely bits that we can do to stop them and prevent them in the future. And just when you're playing against a good teams away from home and they've got a real rhythm and have got real momentum, you've just got to stay in the game a bit better. And that's something that we'll try to keep working with the players to manage. Because if we'd have done that a bit better in that phase, I think we'd have won that game today.
Obviously everyone's disappointed now, no more than yourself, but at the end of the game, if you were to land at that moment as a neutral and ask which sets of fans have seen their team win, you might think it's Huddersfield Town fans, because they're to a man in the away end, all 1,700 of them, clapping your players, clapping you guys for what they've seen. Do you think that's an indication that they can see further than the result, they can see things coming together on the pitch?
Well, I hope so. You know, we've had a good window. And we've worked really, really hard as a football club to firstly keep the quality players that we have, which is so important, and then to try to add the right players. And I think we've been pragmatic in our approach and determined in our approach, and we've done well with the month of January. I just wanted to then have a win or a positive result today, but they have had a positive performance, and for us, we try to be process orientated, and if we are that, then there's a lot of the process that we're pleased with. There's still elements that we've got to improve for sure, and we'll be back on the training pitch on Monday trying to do that.
Finally, you've mentioned the window there, and obviously we haven't spoken to you since we had the window yesterday. Jonas Lössl and Chris Willock joined the club. We kept everyone in house, as you've mentioned as well. We've got about 5 or 6 still carrying little knocks and niggles to come back. You are starting to see that strength in the squad that you've so wanted, aren't you, now, in terms of options for you, which must be encouraging going forward.
Yeah, without a doubt, we've got much more balance to the group now than what we did have. You know, bringing the players that we have, they're, you know, brought some in with real experience and real personality. Brought others in that have got a real hunger and an enthusiasm, and we've got a bit of quality in and around that as well. So there's a nice balance. Obviously, to bring Jonas in as well, has been great. So we didn't anticipate that we would need to bring a goalkeeper in, but we're delighted that we've been able to, and he was so keen to come, and just had such a, you know, first when I spoke to him, his affinity with the supporters and the club was just so clear to see. So that's great. And also Chris as well yesterday. He's a boy that we know well from his time at Arsenal, and had a difficult period where he hasn't played, and he's just a young player but a huge talent, and we're going to try to get him fit and try to get him going, and if we can do that, we know he's got real top end quality that will add to our group.